Okay, good day everyone. Now we are going to continue our report to the last meeting. So now we compare the legacies of British, French, Dutch, Spain, and American rule. We tackle the differences and similarities of colonizer countries. First is the British divide rule policy. So divide rule policy it's a strategy used to gain or maintain power by creating division within a group or population, encouraging conflict or competition between different groups, and preventing unified opposition or resistance. Okay, so and this policy has been used throughout history by colonial powers, politicians, and leaders. And their goals is to weaken potential opposition, maintain control, and exploit existing differences for advantage. For example, colonial powers exploiting ethnic or tribal differences, and politicians using di- divis- using rhetoric to gain support. Okay, so next is French cultural assimilation. So cultural assimilation is the process where individuals or groups adopt the customs, values, and practice of another culture, often losing their original culture identity. This can occur through immigration, colonization, and globalization. And assimilation can be voluntary, mm, cultural exchange, force and force, cultural sub suppression, suppression, and the effect is loss of traditional practices and languages, and change in identity and community. And cultivation system. A system where land is used for a specific crop, often associated with colonial exploitation, forcing local population to grow crops for the benefit of the colonizer. And religious conversation. The, the adoption of a new religion, often involving a chance in benefit practices and affiliations. Here are some notable schools in the Philippines that are legacies of American influence. The example, the universities. The University of the Philippines was established during the American colonial period. It is one of the country's premier institution of higher learning, and Philippine Normal University. Similarities of British, French, Dutch, Spanish, and American. First is economics, exploitation, and second is cultural influence, infrastructural development, and resistance and nationalism. So, economic exploitation. All colonizers aim to extract resources and maximize profit from their colonized, often prioritizing economic gain over local welfare. And cultural influence. Each colonial power sought to impose its culture and language on the local population, leading to significant cultural shift. infrastructural development. So, infrastructural development, while aimed at facilitating colonial control and resource extraction, all regimes contribute to the development of infrastructure such as road, railways, and ports. And the last is resistance and nationalism. The presence of colonial power led to the rise of nationalist movement across the region, ultimately challenging and resisting colonial rule.
Next topic is the unique case of Thailand. Since na-discuss ko naman na noong last meeting, parang recap lang ito. So, Thailand was not formally colonized but was affected by colonial pressure. And then, Thailand as a buffer state. Ayan, makikita nyo dyan sa PowerPoint yung map ng Thailand which is nasa gitna ng British and France Empire. Kaya naging buffer state yung Thailand. So ano nga bang buffer state? Simple lang, yung buffer state is a small neutral zone, area, state, or country between two large powers. Which is yung two large powers dito is yung British Empire and France Empire. Colonial pressures led to transformations. Under King Mongkut, nagkaroon ng Bowring Treaty. And under King Chulalongkorn, merong modernization, he abolished slavery and ceded some territories. And ito na yung additional information na idadagdag ko, merong territorial cession. Binigay ng Thailand yung parts ng Laos at Cambodia sa France at Britain in order to avoid being colonized directly. And lastly, yung ideology nila when it comes to nationalism. Nation, religion, king. Through this ideology, mas napatibay yung sense of nationalism nila. At dahil dito, hindi din nila inalaw na makolonize sila. So, therefore, Thailand's freedom is a result of skilled diplomacy, modernization, territorial cessions, and nationalism. Also, kaya sinabing not formally colonized kasi na-impluensyahan naman sila ng Western culture. Like yung clothing nila and yung mga reforms na na-adapt nila from the West. So, they were colonized when it comes to transformations, clothings, and reforms.
So dumako naman tayo dun sa last topic, the nationalist movements. May in-identify si ma'am na tatlong countries, namely the Indonesia, the Burma, and Vietnam. But then, since nasa Philippines tayo, and simulan ko naman nang na-discuss yung Philippines, then we must finish it kasi it is also a must to know the movements or the efforts of the heroes of the Filipinos para lang ma-attain yung independence natin. So just a quick recap, ang in-influence sa atin ng Spain ay Catholicism, and then they also centralized the government, which is ang power ay nag-focus lamang or concentrated lamang siya doon sa Manila. And they introduced also the galleon trade, a Spain-controlled trade route between Manila and Acapulco. Dito nila idinadaan yung mga Asian goods such as silk, porcelain, and spices. And ang kabayaran noon ay silver na galing sa Amerika. And then, on the year 1898, hindi pa tayo pinapanganak noon, syempre, the Spain ceded the Philippines to the US through the Treaty of Paris. And then, nagain ng Philippines yung kanilang independence noong June 12, 1898 sa Spain, but kinolonize ulit tayo ng mga USA noong 1898 to 1946, which is 48 years. And they introduced the public education, modernized infrastructures, nagpatayo sila ng health centers, schools, such as Far Eastern University is a legacy of the USA. And then they also democratized the institution, or they introduced democracy as a form of government dito sa Philippines. Doon naman tayo sa nationalist movements. Maraming revolutions and mutinies ang binuo ng mga Pilipino, pero ang tumatak at ang naging dahilan ng ating independence ay ang Philippine Revolution and yung KKK or yung kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan, katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, which was led by Andres Bonifacio E. de Castro, Emilio Aguinaldo E. Fami, and then Jose P. Rizal. Hulaan nyo na lang yung full name ni Jose Rizal. KKK is a secret revolution which was established noong 1892. It aims to gain independence through armed revolution or armed struggle. So pag sinabi nating armed struggle, it is the use of weapons to achieve goals. And then, sa reformist propaganda naman, it is the use of writings, speeches, and publications of Filipinos, mostly one-sided, para mabago yung or maimpluwensyahan yung utak ng isang tao. Yun. And then, noong July 4, 1946, the US officially recognized Philippines as an independent state. So, dumako naman tayo sa country na Indonesia. Ang Indonesia ay kinolonize ng mga Dutch people. Ang Dutch people is yung mga taga-Netherlands. And then, dumating ang mga Dutch people doon sa India noong 1600s through the Dutch East India Company, which was controlling the spice trade. And then, noong nag-collapse ang Dutch East India Company noong 1799, the Dutch government took direct control sa Indonesia, officially making it as a colony. The reason why the Dutches colonized Indonesia was its Moluccas or the Spice Islands, the world's main source of spices. Introduced the cultivation system noong 1830s, forcing Indonesians to go cash crops for exports, and then nire-remit nila yung mga kita nila doon sa mga Dutches, which caused widespread poverty and famine sa area na yon. Yan. And then, noong 1927, nabuo ang nationalist movement na Partai Nasional Indonesia or the PNI, which was led by Keosno Sosrodihardjo, later named as Sukarno. PNI is a first openly political, non-cooperative nationalist party which refused to collaborate with the Dutch. And then it promotes unity and resilience. The main goal of this nationalist movement was a Swadeshi-style economic independence, which means self-reliance and supporting local producers as a strategy to weaken British colonial control. Sukarno and other leaders were arrested noong 1929. During his imprisonment, he delivered his first speech entitled Indonesia Menggugat or Indonesia Accuses. This speech exposed Dutch colonial exploitation. Indonesians had the right to independence and then defended nationalism as a legitimate struggle. He was sentenced to prison and the PNI was banned noong 1931. But then, the PNI inspired many other nationalist movement groups. And noong 1945, nagain ng Indonesia ang independence. But then, the Netherlands only recognized yung kanilang independence noong year 1949. The third country that we were going to discuss was the country Burma. Ang Burma ay ang old name ng Myanmar. So before the Great Britain colonized Burma, nagkaroon muna sila ng tatlong Anglo-Burmese War. Sa First Anglo-Burmese War, na colonized ng Great Britain ang Arakan and Tenasserim, which is part ng Myanmar. Sa second naman, it took Lower Burma for ports and trades. Na-colonized ang Lower Burma. Sa Third Anglo-Burmese War, the British overthrew King Tibaw and annexed Upper Burma. Anglo-Burmese War is a war between Kingdom of Burma and Great Britain. So, all of Burma was under British rule and made a province of British India noong 1886. The Britain exploited rice, thick, oil, and minerals during their colonial era. Aung San, a student activist, takes direct action for change. He co-founded the Obama Asia Yon, or the We Burmans Association, which promotes Burmese nationalism. Noong 1940, he founded the BIA, or the Burma Independence Army. He formed the BIA with Japan's support, but then later on, Japan occupation became oppressive. So later on, he founded the anti-fascist People's Freedom League, which aims to fight against the Japanese with Allied support. The nature of this nationalist movement is student-led movement. Pag sinabing student-led movement, most leaders are from Rangoon University, which was doon nag-graduate si Aung San. Next is guerrilla warfare. Pag sinabi naman guerrilla warfare, it is during World War II that the AFPFL, or the Anti-Fascist People's Freedom League, organized resistance against Japan using guerrilla tactics such as ambush, sabotage, and small raids. Doon naman yung movement ng Burma or Myanmar. Next country is Vietnam. Ang sumakop sa Vietnam ay ang mga France. So the France or the French people first came as missionaries and traders, pero may mga inner motives pala sila doon sa Vietnam. Noong mid-1800s, they used conflicts with the Vietnamese monarchy to expand control. So, sinisiraan nila yung monarchy sa mga tao para mag-expand ng control. Noong 1887, nabuo ang French Indochina. The movement that was founded by Ho Chi Minh noong 1941 is yung Viet Minh, or yung League for the Independence of Vietnam. The nature of this movement is guerrilla warfare, propaganda, political indoctrination. Pag sinabi natin guerrilla warfare, as explained a while ago, guerrilla warfare is the use of guerrilla tactics such as ambush, sabotage, and small raids to achieve goals. When we say propaganda, it is a biased or one-sided ideas to influence how people think. And then, pag sinabi naman nating political indoctrination, it is to make the people to fully accept a certain political belief without questioning. It is to shape loyalty and obedience. Naganap ang First Indochina War noong 1946 to 1954 through the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. Nag-end ang war na ito noong 1954. The France was defeated by the Vietnam. And eventually, the Vietnamese people recognized their independence.